Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry it's been so long. It's not that we haven't been working on the house. We've just been crazy busy. But we have a lot to go over today. Let's start a couple weeks ago, back when we got this house painted. Alrighty guys, so we got the house primed. We have the trim sanded, caulked, good to go, ready for paint, but I don't want to spray this before I spray the ceiling because the overspray will probably get on this. Typically I think painters would spray all of this trim and then roll everything, but this is way too much house to roll. This would take me, I might be able to do it in a full weekend, but I would be falling apart, and I think you get a much better finish with the spray. So that's my plan of attack. We'll see in the end if I regret it or not. But I went around last night, it was like 9:30, totally pitch black in here with my phone flashlight. And I went like this along the literal entire house looking for any spots that needed a patch. Like right here. So I went around with something called Dry Dex. It's a spackling compound and it goes on like pink or purple. The stuff right here. So it goes on, you don't need to prime it, and it's super smooth. So I don't know, probably 200 spots I patched with this stuff. So now I need to go around and find where I patched and give it a quick sand. That way you don't see that patch or the texture difference. I'm gonna fly through these rooms, look for any spots, get the sprayer primed up, get it full of paint, and we're gonna start painting this house. Let's go. Got the skate shoes on today. I wanted to give the feet a rest on the work boots, so they're probably gonna get pretty painted, but that's okay. I don't really wear them for anything other than working on the house, so they're old. Here you go. Here, come on. Come on. Will you help sand? No? Okay. I'll do it. Alright guys, I got the whole house vacuumed, went around the edges making sure that there was no debris, and I got the whole house sanded first. That took a long time, but we already sprayed and back rolled the entire house with the PVA primer. That really locked and sealed the drywall. It stopped this paint from being able to soak in. So my thought is, I don't think I need to back roll again. I've seen 10 videos that say I do, 10 videos that say I don't. This is 15,000 square feet of painting. So I don't really want to back roll if I don't have to. So I'm gonna try and just spray. I've done it before on our last house and it worked out okay. And the ceilings and the walls are the same color. So really, I think it should work out because I got such a good bond and such a good coat actually with this PVA primer. This new paint we're using, or the finish paint, is by Sherwin-Williams. It's Duration, which is like their second from the highest end, basically. It's a super high quality paint, and I'm not sure what color white. I'll put it here on the screen. It's already 11:30, and last time it took me 7 hours to prime, so it should go quite a bit faster without having to back roll. But I don't know, because I'm going to be taking more time and using a little less pressure on the sprayer. The sprayer is a airless sprayer, so essentially it just uses a piston to force the paint through here at crazy PSI. I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 2000 PSI. This is the Magnum X7 from Lowe's. It's about $400 or $500, I believe, but this one sprayer can do anything. You can paint an entire house, like the outside, the inside. You can paint a fence. It's not for like vehicle paint. That's a different setup. You wouldn't use it for that, but any like typical paint, this just makes such easy work of it and a much better finish. They have different size tips. So this is a monster tip. This is the 517. I'm gonna get changed, get into my paint suit and get into I have a full respirator. I'm not sure if you need it, but I have enough stuff in my lungs from concrete, so figured I might as well be safe on a house this big, spraying for 7 hours straight. So let's get painting. Getting down with my skivvies, because these paint suits are quite hot. Oh boy, it's hot already in here. All right, gotta get everything out of here that I don't want paint on. Go get my respirator. So if you look, it's super solid and the edges are kind of feathered. I'm not a professional, but I've watched dozens of hours of paint videos, specifically Paint Life TV. If you guys are looking for any paint tips, check out that guy's channel. He's a professional and he's got a video on every single question you have about painting. I watched a lot of his videos on how to get a nice even coverage. And from what I can tell and what I remember, this right here is perfect. So I'm not gonna waste any more paint. I'm just gonna start spraying and praying. Got a long way to go. Sprayed the whole house twice. Last night I hand painted all of the trim. We were trying to spray and it just was too much of a pain trying to hold the shield and spray. Hindsight, we probably should have done the trim first, but then we wouldn't have been able to spray the ceilings, but we didn't want to roll this whole house, so everything was kind of out of order, but it turned out pretty good. We sanded actually you sanded all the trim today. Mm-hmm. And then we're gonna do one more coat on that after we're done spraying. Last thing left to spray is our doors. So all the doors in here are gonna be black. Kind of, I guess it's a newer style. Mm-hmm. I've never in my life seen a black door, but we're gonna make the black doors, a lot of black doors. 2, 4, 6, 8, we got 10 black doors. So these doors are gonna go on what you see basically when you're walking through the house. So all the bedrooms, offices, bathrooms, the inside closet doors, like the second tier, I guess you'd call it, those are all gonna be white. Same color as all the walls and the trim. So got a brand new filter, brand new tip, everything brand new inside the gun. That way we don't get any white speckles or anything sprayed on this black. It should be a really sharp black, but there's only one way to find out. So Gonna get the gun cleared out of water and hopefully any other white, and then start spraying this black on these doors. It's a much finer tip than we painted the walls with, so it'll be a smaller spray pattern and a lot less overspray. So I'm still gonna wear a respirator after I'm done talking to you guys, but we shouldn't have any issues getting on the wall or the ceiling or anything, because it's much more like a spray paint versus this, which is like a power washer. So let's get going.
You better get out of here. Dad's gonna spray paint you black.
So this is just water right now. Gotta spray it out until we see black. It's just water, it's not paint fumes. So these tips are pretty cool. This here is a 311. So the first number 3 means 30 degrees, but it also means double it. Double the first number in 6 inches. So 6 inches at 1 foot away. So that's how wide the pattern is. The second number is, I think, 0.0 and then this number. So 0.011. I don't know the metric, but that's a small amount of paint versus like a 17, which is what we did primer and paint with. So you can spray it like this, but if you get a clog, you can just reverse the tip around and it blows the clog out, and then you turn it back and you're good to go. You can see a little bit of black.
Don't waste it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have enough.
Paint is not cheap, guys. So, even though you said don't waste it, we do have to do a test pattern on the floor. We got our concrete HEPA vacuum, so it's a super fine, well, I don't know if you call it a fine, but a super good filter. So we were able to vacuum all the floors in here. That way when I'm getting down to spray down the door, it doesn't kick up a bunch of dust, because the dust that was on the floors is the white overspray. So we don't want white speckles going in the air. So you want, it's hard to tell on this floor, the concrete guy that poured this house was an absolute hack, but you want a solid paint, and then your edges, you want it feathered like this. You don't want a hard line. That way when you do your next pass, you have good overlap, and you don't have a bunch of hard lines on the edge. So I guess let's start with this door. Alright, so I'm gonna move this light around to try and be able to see the reflection of the paint. Here goes nothing. You can tell my confidence is extremely high right now.
I really hope that's on good.
Alrighty, there we go. Just got them all sprayed. They actually went really well. Had plenty of paint. I'm not sure if we'll do a second coat or not. We'll have to see when they dry. It's pretty cool seeing some color in here. It's been just a sea of white. I've gone crazy spraying. So it's even though it's black, it's still a color, and it's nice to see a little bit of variation in here. Don't see anything on the walls, which is great, or on the ceiling. And I didn't snag any of the doors, so curious to see. This is a really nice emerald classic, so it's a good trim paint. It should, or not emerald. Pro Classic is the trim paint. Emerald is their top of the line paint, so this should level out and be really, really nice when it's done. It's a satin finish, so it's not gonna be shiny like this. It'll just be a little bit shiny. But we're gonna let those dry, and I'm gonna swap out the pump again so that I can spray these interior doors, because we got 2 in there. We have the bifolds in there, and 2 in there, 4 in the other room. So we got a little bit more spraying to do, but I want to keep it up while I am on a roll. All right, guys, picking up where I left off. I ended up spraying all those white doors. Those turned out really, really nice. And we got all the black doors sprayed. I actually did 2 more coats. I wasn't happy with that finish I showed in that first video. So I sanded them down, sprayed them, wasn't happy with that, sanded them down again, put another coat. So 3 total coats on the black doors, which is, I feel better about it anyway, because if they get scratched or bumped, there's a better chance that the scratch won't be the white primer that's underneath it, and it'll just be the second coat of black or the first coat if it's a bad gouge. So should be done with the exception of a final coat on the casing. I hand painted these one time, and then Chelsea went around and sanded all of these, just the outsides of the casing. So when we're all done with the house, we're gonna do one last coat, but we didn't want to do it now because there's a good chance, me being as clumsy as I am, or other people being in here, not that there's any other trades, but could scratch or damage the casing walking in and out with building materials. So we're just gonna wait till we're all done, do a quick roll with a really fine nap roller to get an even finish and fix any of those mistakes. This color and sheen is really beautiful. It's a matte finish, so you can see kind of when you look at the right angle in the light, it gives a shine to it, but it's not shiny like gloss. So it should be really good because it's essentially flat, and most of the time when you're looking at it, it's a flat finish, but that slight bit of matte, they say actually will help a lot with being able to clean and with moisture resistance, so that moisture's not going inside your wall. There is one caveat. Whoa. I know I didn't paint this bug. I wonder if it's one of those color changing bugs. He's not doing perfect, but if there wasn't a shadow, he's blending into the wall pretty good. Sorry, total squirrel moment. Where was I? Oh, the paint. There's a caveat with the paint, and I will warn you guys, I will warn anybody out there, matte paint, M-A-T-T-E, is very different than matte paint on like a spray paint. It is very, very, very hard to get even, especially spraying. So the paint is not flawless. There are actually a few areas where you can kind of see some inconsistency. I don't think it's enough for us to worry about, but it's just something to consider when picking out a matte paint. I'll show you here. We're honest here. So if you look down this long wall where you can look into the light, you can kind of see a little bit of, I don't know what you'd call it. It's kind of weird. We didn't roll anything, so it's not a roller mark. It's just the difference where you get some paint thicknesses. So depending on your spray pattern, even though I made sure my pattern was nice, you can't be literally perfect. So sometimes where you're overlapping, if you go too much overlap, that'll obviously be thicker. And then with this matte paint, it gives a shine instead of being more flat. So it's incredibly hard, and I would absolutely recommend going any other finish other than matte. I know it's popular, it's on all the influencers, Instagram stuff, what paint they're using. But I've called many professional painters since we were having trouble. That's why I sprayed the whole house twice. So we wasted a full house worth of paint, again, just to make this a little more even, when if we would have used something, either just gone straight with a flat or more like an eggshell, we wouldn't have had this issue at all. I've called many professional painters and they've all said, do not use matte. It is way too difficult. I'm sure some of you guys out there that are painters are gonna say something in the comments. That's great if you can figure out a way to do it, or if you can roll it, absolutely. But I'm not rolling 15,000 square feet. That is way too much. And maybe down the road, if there's a wall that really bothers me, I'll touch it up. It's really only in these areas. But I mean, if you look here, this is pretty uniform. It's the window reflecting up there. So it's really only the walls that are directly in line with the light, if that makes sense. Like this wall looks perfect. These shorter walls, they look flawless. You can't see any issue with them at all, or at least I can't. these small walls are great. It's just the super long walls where there's a ton of light where you'll notice it. So just something to consider before you go picking your paint finish. As you can see, these doors turned out fantastic. It's a nice, I think it was a semi-gloss. You can see they're a little dusty from sitting here. That's a sign it's been way too long since we've posted a video. So you might see some stuff in the background, like over there or up there, or specifically that thing. That is a hint for the next video. Something less than ideal happened, and it is a good lesson for anybody out there building their own house. We will save that for next video. I promise it will be a lot sooner than this last upload, and we will see you guys on the next video. We love you, and thank you for supporting us. This house build has been such a more difficult journey than we were expecting, physically, mentally, financially, everything, and we really appreciate everybody that tunes in and watches these and gives us the support and encouragement to keep going, because we need it. We're getting closer. I think that's another one of those bugs. Huh, I'm gonna have to figure out what those are. I think I just squirreled on you guys again. We'll see you next time.